Alrighty.
Okay, everybody. Um. All right. Actually, let me do the clap first. Alrighty. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Eddie Experience. I'm your host, Eddie, and to be honest, I don't think I really like that name. It's a work in progress, so we'll figure that out. But yeah, welcome to my show. I'm super excited to finally start sharing some stuff with you guys, start talking about my life, other people's lives, maybe, drama, thoughts, oversharing. And what better way to start oversharing than talk about who I am? Like, who the heck is this guy you're listening to? Um, to be honest, this is actually the second time I'm recording this because I didn't really have a lot of things prepared or I wasn't really sure about what I wanted to talk about. So if you're watching this on Spotify, I'm sorry. But if you're watching this on YouTube or TikTok, um, if I get that running, check out this little map I drew. Yep. Pretty messy, but hopefully it helps guide me today in today's podcast. Like I said, today's might not have said it, but I hope I said that today's gonna be a little bit scripted, but in the future I want to have a lot of unscripted content where I can just talk with you guys on the camera, or I can talk with guests and talk about their lives and what's happening with them, what's happening in our weeks, and our thoughts on just a bunch of silly things. Yeah, I'm gonna have a lot of fun, I think, and I'm really excited to start sharing with you guys. So, look at the Eddie spiderweb on this little paper thing I drew. Um, Looks like we're gonna dive straight into the Eddie origin story. Dun dun dun. Um. Anyways, so let's talk about. So I was born in Torrance, LA, which is significant because my dad was military, specifically Air Force. So born in Torrance, LA. Ended up traveling to um Washington D.C. I believe when I was in first grade. And then I moved to um where did I move to? Let me check my handy little notebook paper here to check where I have lived or this fake story that I'm making up, and don't know if any of you guys would know. But yeah, actually, so then I moved to Scottsdale, Arizona, and then Phoenix, Arizona, then the Bay, and now I'm in college. So let me talk about Scottsdale, Arizona first, though. Um, Scottsdale, Arizona is just no joke. It's just super freaking hot over there. But my biggest memories from there were I remember I tried mustard over there for the first time while watching the Pokemon movie, and I love the Pokemon movie, but I hate mustard. Um, yeah, I don't know. I just thought I had to share that with you guys. Um, but also Scottsdale, I will say, has a lot of really, really, really amazing libraries, and that's where I read the Pokemon manga book. Anyways, Washington D.C. That place was actually super interesting to be living there, I would say, because I saw a lot of historical events, or not events, buildings, sorry, historical events. What am I talking about? But yeah, so I saw Washington D.C.'s. Shoot, sorry. First podcast jitters. I have to say, but yeah, I saw George Washington's house. I got to see the White House. I also remember there's like a lot of snow over in Washington D.C. and just living next to snow and um, being really good friends with my neighbors were some really core memories for me. I think even back when I was just a whittle boy, and yeah. Then so I lived in all these different places. So by the time I got to third grade, I was already at my eighth different school, which I remember because I put that in my PIQs for college. Um, and yeah, I think that made me stand out just a little bit. And I remember my elementary school growing up in the Bay. My elementary school was actually super chill. I remember um, getting into like I got my first iPad basically in elementary school, and I remember just having full unrestricted access to the internet was such a crazy thing for me as a third grader to have, and be able to watch Smosh all the time every day, and YouTube and all these like Let's Plays and game channels, and I think all that really inspired my um, kind of like want or drive to do content creation. So super excited and super happy to be able to sit down and share with you guys right now because it's something I've kind of been thinking about since I was in elementary school. So yeah. Um, and I remember. Okay, so I wrote down. I started judo here. So I guess yeah, because back in Washington D.C., even in Scottsdale and Phoenix, Arizona, my parents really pushed for me to do mixed martial arts, um, which I hated at the time. But I think ultimately it was a really good thing for me because if I didn't, I probably would just be at home watching Cartoon Network. So um, it was a lot of fun thinking about it, and I made like a lot of really good lifelong friends who I still talk with now from doing mixed martial arts even back then. Um, and yeah, it continued all the way up until middle school. Um, and speaking of middle school, uh, I ended up going to a middle school that was completely brand new. They opened it for like pre-K to eighth grade, and I just graduated from sixth grade, so I went into the seventh grade, and I was a brand new fresh class for the seventh grade. And it was super interesting for me because none of my elementary school friends were gonna go to the middle school that I was going to, and I was pretty bummed out about it. But ultimately, thinking back at it now, it was really nothing new for me because I had already switched to so many different schools at that point. Um, that going back and uh, I guess just not knowing so many people going into a new school should have been pretty familiar. But I guess it's also weird for me because at that point I had like finally known some elementary school friends for longer than just 1 year. So I knew them from third grade to sixth grade, and I was expecting to go to middle school with them, but then the new one opened up, and my parents wanted me to go into that one instead. So, but yeah, I had a really good time in that one too. I remember distinctly about my drama class in that school because um that was the class that like pushed us to do videos and make movies, and we were all like YouTube kids, and so we watched a ton of YouTube and we're like, oh, we'll just do it ourselves. So I remember we had to make a parody movie, and we wanted to make a parody movie off the Titanic. So we wanted to make it like, really low budget and shitty, so we called it Boat. And we our little group was just guys, and so we made one of the guys wear a wig and made him pretend to be in love with the other guy. So it was a really silly time. And yeah, I also remember my acne being super bad then. Um, and I also had to wear uniform every day, which I wore the uniform and then I put a sweatshirt on top of it because I thought like the uniform was dumb. And yeah, what a weird time! What a weird time. And yeah, I also got involved with a lot of different volunteer organizations. So, um, like a bunch of youth volunteers. So I did some food banks. I did a lot of work with um unhoused people and setting up senior Thanksgiving dinners and Halloween events for like the local senior center in my town in middle school. And it's like, why was I doing that? I don't know. I don't know. But ultimately, I think it was really fun and really good for me. Just like even be out of the house in middle school because like, what else are you gonna do in middle school, right? Um, and then let's see. So it looks like now oh okay. I also I had my first girlfriend back in middle school too, and that was just a super funny experience because I remember just we talked a lot about anime, and I think I liked her because I was really into anime, and then she was really into anime, and then we really bonded off of that, and yeah. But you know, the girlfriends episode will be a while away, so stay tuned for that one. Okay, okay. So now we're going to high school. Um, like this is actually it's pretty. This is really oversharing, I'd say. But I actually had a really really good time in high school. I met a lot of really awesome and really fun people to be around. Not a lot of people who I keep so much in contact with now, but I remember just like having and making a lot of memories. So I did. I remember, and it's so silly, but I ran for winter ball um every year in high school, and I never had anyone to run with. I was never with someone at the same time that winter ball was going on. So um or maybe I wasn't with somebody who would also do it with me. But um I did winter ball and I ran for that every year. Never got picked because I didn't have a partner, but it was all good. It was a lot of fun just like pretending to be really into this whole event of I want to win the winter ball and become crown of the winter ball dumb prom thing. And yeah, that was really funny, I think. Also, I remember doing all the talent shows back in my high school too, where I would do parodies of Bo Burnham's, just comedy skits, and just doing singing, and winning at least second place, I think, usually. But it was a lot of fun. And I think it was really iconic, and I remember I had a lot of friends in high school because of it. Yeah. Oh, in high school, just a sneak peek, but I guess I had two girlfriends there. So, um, anyways, we'll save that for the girlfriends episode. But yeah. So, what is it? I taught baseball. I guess okay. I guess in elementary school, I was in this program, the Junior Giants program, where I it was like free baseball education and like a summer program for everyone and anybody to just like sign up with the city and do their baseball program, and like it's encouraged like physical activity and a lot of stuff. But so I did it back in elementary school, and then I was a coach in middle school, and then in high school I was also still a coach, and I had my own team, and then in college I actually ran the program for them, which was super awesome. But yeah, I'll go into that a little bit later. Um, and oh yeah, so I also used to run my high school's video club. So I started this club in high school called the Cinema, Film, and Video Club, and I thought it was a really big, ambitious project at first because I thought what I would do is we would analyze movies, I think, but in the end, we ended just like creating a lot of movies. So it was a lot of fun. We competed in a lot of video contests. Specifically, there's like a local water conservation video contest about like promoting ways to save water, and I did a music video for every single one of those, and I won the contest multiple times. So technically, we were an award-winning video club, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. But that okay, and also we were this close to having a field trip with Netflix and to get to view and tour the Netflix headquarters in SF, but it never ended up happening because COVID happened. So that was super awesome. But yeah, so we also got to see. There's another field trip that we did have actually. It was so crazy that it happened to us because we were asked to help film this youth leadership conference on anti-vaping, and so we um got over there and like we got to stay there for free and just take videos of like what was going on and take interviews, and it was a lot of fun. But yeah, so I think all of that like really increased and uh I guess planted seeds for my love for video creation. Um and yeah. Um and also I may have been a theater kid. I may have been a little theater kid for my high school, if you couldn't tell, where I did a couple plays and nothing, no big roles, but I met a lot of friends in there, and it was an after school things. I had a lot of fun with that one too. I have to say, if you were asking me what my favorite theater play is, mine right now is Hamilton. It's pretty basic, but it got me into theater, and all the songs are so iconic. And yeah, and you can watch it on Disney Plus too. So, anyways, yeah. I also wanted to say, back in high school, I had like a lot of really good teachers. Um, One of them is even TikTok famous. Share that story later. But they like all my teachers were, since the school was, I guess, so I had a really small school. I should have said this earlier, but yeah, my school only had 500 kids, and um, I think that's really small for a conventional high school. And that's because we weren't conventional. We were a charter school. But whenever I talk to people over here in the college I'm at, so they'll say like, "Oh yeah, 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 500 kids is actually the size of my class." And I was like, "Oh yeah, well that's cool." And there's pros and cons to it too, I would say, because in what is it in middle school? Oh, actually, my bad, my bad. In high school, it's like if there's only 500 kids, you walk by the same people every day, and you see the same people every day, and you know everybody, and everybody knows you. And like drama and news, like all of it travels so fast. So, yeah. Um, what else? What else? Um, oh, okay. Well, now I guess that was the Eddie origin story, and so now I've overshared about myself, and you might know a little bit more about me. And I hope to know a little bit more about you and you guys if you guys come back on the podcast and we can have a chat about life and other silly things. Well, yeah, I guess I just wanted to have this podcast so it works better with my schedule, and I could bring on guests on my own time and be able to have more episodes out and get to have more awesome and interesting conversations. So, really excited to have you guys on. And yeah, so I was on a previous podcast too, but nothing ended up happening with that one. Just everyone's schedules were just a little bit too difficult to work with, and like um I really fell in love with like having conversations with people through a podcast style format. So yeah. Um so like I guess right now, Eddie origin story over, Eddie present story now. Um I'm a fourth year, I'm about to graduate, but before I do, I wanted to make the most of it and bring anybody who I really wanted to have onto the podcast, have all these cool conversations, and really expand the podcast to see just like what I can do and how big we make it. So, thank you for being so early on the podcast for episode 1 here. And I just can't wait to see what happens and what comes of it. So, thanks for watching, and hit the follow, like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends. And yeah, I hope I could have been a nice companion for you either while you're doing some dishes, doing some chores, on your commute, and all the other stuff. So, see you in the next one. Bye bye.